Hello folks, welcome to another video. Welcome to Bitopics. Today we are here as always. Hopefully you had an amazing weekend. It was wild nonetheless. But without further ado, let's jump into the news and we're going to look at the charts together to see how things are going. Let's jump right into it. Starting with the news, and man, the market's feeling that post-hype hangover hard. Bitcoin is hanging tough around $95,500 after dipping to 93,400 lows. And all that thanks to liquidity drying up and another 800 million bled from the ETFs. This is like October's wipeout on repeat, but with even shakier floors that could send things swinging wild. Ethereum is down to 3,100 off 6% this stretch, and Solana is stuck at the 142, while XRP and ADA take 8 to 16% hits. Fear Greed Index went all the way down to 10. It plummeted to 10, straight to extreme fear mode. And Bitcoin is actually flirting with a death cross on the charts. But hey, in past cycles, these have been buying signals. CT is full of macro folks saying that financialization is muting the chaos a bit, though $84,000 whispers are still everywhere. And if the price breaks, we should see that number eventually. The total market cap is idling at around $3.3 trillion, with gold sucking up all the safe haven love. Now, let's hop into the timelines. It is a mess there, but actually a good kind of messy. Solana diehards are straight up bailing for Zcash, riding that 236% moonshot to $740 like it's the privacy play we've all been sleeping on. Influencers and Solana people like Mert, for example, they're catching heat for the flip, and folks are actually buzzing about Zcash maybe flipping XRP or maybe Solana by February. But this is just a classic trenches flip-flop. There's also the talk that Zcash is actually a CIA token or a Mossad token, and the Monero guys are actually hyping this narrative to make sure people go to Monero and other privacy coins instead of going to Zcash because it seems suspicious. Then there's the normies piling on this. The feeds are jammed with those "I told you so" screenshots. Bitcoin's a total Ponzi, crypto's done. But you know the drill. Whenever this happens, especially in the last cycles, this hate wave has been the green light for bounces, especially with index this low. Crypto Twitter's calling it when the outsiders yell scam, it is time to stack sats quickly. Shifting gears to DC, the DOJ dropped a scam center strike force bomb on the 15th, especially to go against the Chinese. This could be just another thing that Trump is doing to make sure people don't look at him when doing shady things in crypto, but look at other people when doing shady things in crypto. So we have to wait and see how that actually works and how that will apply to everything in crypto and Web3 related. We also have TradFi companies like VanEck and Grayscale that they're still filing ETFs, especially things for mixing Bitcoin and Ethereum for pensions. Of course, there's the XRP stuff, tokenized funds by BNY, which we talked about before. So all of this is actually happening even though the markets are crashing. It makes you wonder if we are indeed bottoming out and getting ready to another pump. Then we have ERS that is chiming in with new tax basics, and now they're talking about DeFi yields and staking counting as regular income, which will finally close these sneaky report holes. This was it for the news segment. Let's actually now look at the charts to see how things are going over there, starting with Bitcoin. Now, if we look right here, we see that we are far away from the days of $125,000 here, which was the all-time high, and we are down 25% from that top, meaning that we could still go down because the average is around 30 from the tops. So if we push 30 right here, we are going to go right at 87,000, which is indeed a number that you should be looking out for. I'm not sure we're going to go towards that number, but 87 should be the next stop if we keep falling. So keep an eye on 87. But looking at the RSI on the daily, we're getting to a point where we are oversold. So it is wise for us to slow down. And I think that's going to happen. We're going to slow down, even if it is for a couple of days. And maybe that will reset to go up. But again, we could be resetting to just keep going down and look for that $87,000. Now, looking at Ethereum broke that 35 to 37 range that we talked about. If we were staying inside that range, it would be good news, but we went right below that. We tried to get back in, but the 200 moving average stopped us and we bounced below that. So now this is going to be a ceiling for us. It's going to be a place where we're going to try to break above of. But again, it all depends on Bitcoin. Bitcoin performs bad, then these altcoins are going to be going down as well, because there is no altcoin season if Bitcoin is not performing. Altcoin season usually performs better than Bitcoin, but it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is doing bad. No, usually Bitcoin is going to have a huge rally. Bitcoin pushes, then Bitcoin slows down. And on that push, it's going to flow from Bitcoin to altcoins. But the opposite is not true. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin starts falling, then money is going to flow to altcoins. No, actually money is going to flow out of crypto as a whole. So if Bitcoin is not performing, everything in crypto is not performing as well. So altcoins need a pump on Bitcoin for them to pump after in a higher percentage. So we need to keep an eye on this, because if Ethereum starts to fall because Bitcoin is falling, we're going to be looking at the 2500 and then the 2100, which was the strongest support that we had going back all the way to last year. Then we have Solana, which keeps going down, but now we're trading around that wick from October 10th. So the huge wick that got all the way to 141, we are actually trading at that level. So maybe that's going to hold us. Maybe this is the bottom. And if it is the bottom for Bitcoin, most likely it's going to be the bottom for Ethereum, for Solana, just with a little bit of a lag maybe. If Bitcoin marks the bottom, then everything else should bottom out as well, at least the top altcoins. And then we should start seeing some gradual flow on Bitcoin, which will flow towards altcoins later. But for Solana, we have to keep an eye to see how things are going, because volume seems to be going down. The RSI is going down and the price is also going down. So there's no divergence here anywhere showing us that one indicator showing something, the other showing another thing, and that may create something else. But whenever you have something that confirms a bottom right here, we need to act fast, because this could be a good entry for you to buy if you're bullish on Solana, or if you're bullish on Ethereum or on Bitcoin, because this would be a good place for you to start stacking up, getting ready for another bump. The Fear and Greed Index, as we said in the news segment, it touched 10 yesterday. So extreme fear. It is actually a number that I don't know if we have seen in a long time. Last time we saw this was on February, and prior to this, we only saw 6 in 2022 and 9 in 2022. So 21st of July, 2022. And other than that, we haven't seen 10 anywhere. I'm looking right here, and the lowest I see is around 14 right here, then 10, then 10 again. But yeah, other than that, we go all the way to 2022, then 2021, then during the pandemic, then prior to the pandemic in 2019, and then all the way to 2018. So these are scary numbers. And again, this could be the bottom. Whenever there's people saying that crypto's dead, it usually means that all of these news got so popular that it broke this little bubble that we call crypto Twitter, and it went to the normies. And now the normies are saying, hey, I told you so. Because every time they hear the worst news first. This is the news that get to them. Crypto is going down, gold is going up, and they usually will tell you, hey, I told you so, you know, you shouldn't have bought this orange coin, you shouldn't have bought this Ethereum coin, whatever. And then this is when we see the bottom, where prices started to slow down instead of keep going down. And then we start see it picking it back up. No one's going to be talking about it until it goes to new all-time highs. It goes to, 130, 150, and people are going to start saying, I told you so, you should have bought it at the bottom. People are going to start posting about the bottom. Then FOMO is going to get in, and whenever there's this FOMO, then people start taking profits. New retailers come in thinking they still can push something else, and this is when the bull market gets to its top, and it stops preparing to the new bear market. So I think this is what we're going to be seeing, but we never know. Now, going back to the topics, if we go to the copy trading, we are killing it on the copy trading. Remember that I told you that the 5% was possible, and indeed we've done it. We're around the 5.68 right now. We are over $1 million right here in the 0DTE vault, 255 people, 946 on the normal 0DTE, and this is at 4 million more or less here in assets under management. So we're growing in assets under management overall on Bitopics. So if you want to be part of these, this is pretty much USDC or USDT. You deposit stablecoins right here, and with these stablecoins, we trade options and you get part of that. So it is stablecoin yield on option vaults. So you don't have to know how to trade. You don't have to do the trading itself. We just get a 30% success fee, which I think is fair because you're not doing any of the heavy lifting. And overall, we have projected 70% if we keep going at this rate. But I do believe that this will beat the 0DT because we have way more volatility and we can push way more than we're doing right now. So I do believe that this number, maybe we we can even reach 7 or 8% this month alone on the alt. So that would be fantastic. Hopefully you're able to catch that. And if you want to join, the first link in the description will bring you to Bitopics. So make sure to check it out. No KYC, you just deposit your USDC right here or USDT and you start earning these whenever we do a trade. So this was it for today's video. Hopefully we have a very good week. The good thing about the copy trading is that if the market's going up or down, you have no exposure to these underlying assets other than with options. So you still keep your portfolio with no volatility whatsoever because it is in stable coins, but you can still profit from movements up or down in the market. That is something that I like with Bitopics. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys on Friday for another video. If you want to keep updated, follow me on Twitter as well. There you find my daily updates on my trades and on other things crypto related. Thank you very much. Take care. Peace.